Hey, hey, hey. This is our wonderful message for this week. And I am Tiiu Nap. I'm sure you guys all know that. But just in case you don't, I am sitting right next to the, how do I say, the fabulous,
Oh,
inspiring, incredible Dr. Michael Gross.
and I am sitting next to my sister from another mother, the inspiring, magnificent, incredible author of Healing the Holes in Your Soul.
Oh my
A
gosh.
must read, an incredible book about an incredible woman who faced the trials and tribulations of life and came out smelling like a rose.
Wow. And I am sitting next to the wonderful author of The Spiritual Primer, who totally changed my life. Let me tell you, this book is a must read, and I highly recommend you read this one because this one led to that one. Am I right?
You're 100% right.
So, together, this is great. I don't know. Sorry about the lighting, guys. You know, we do these so unprofessionally, but we have a good time doing them. And I tell you, these make a heck of a pair. And with Christmas not far away, seriously connect with us on this. Okay. And I'm going to say, let's get started, right?
All right.
I hope they hear that. If there's background noise, we apologize because the neighbor just fired up something.
No problem.
Not sure what it is. It might sounds like
It's
a
all
weed
my
eater.
sister's fault.
There he goes again. It sounds like a weed eater, but we're going to go ahead and roll with this. We have a fantastic topic tonight. Dr. Michael often just comes out of the blue with these topics. And today, it's really, really important that we share this with you because it's relationship addiction. And let me tell you, before I get into it, sometimes we don't realize what we're addicted to. Sometimes we don't realize what we're addicted to until it rears its ugly head. Right?
Right. I
Yeah.
just popped in a little piece of candy because I have a little post-nasal drip, so I apologize. So I don't want to cough, and that'll help me stop me coughing.
Yeah, we're always we make him talk a lot, and sometimes it gets to be a little bit tough on the throat, don't you think?
It does.
Yeah. So I will go ahead and introduce him while he sucks on his lozenge.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you know what? You would think I would have this thing memorized, but I keep ad libbing it anyway. So Dr. Michael Gross is an author, the book, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he has been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and a teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others, many others, in their personal quest for self empowerment. He has helped them to create the lives they have long sought and bring forth their intuitive abilities. I didn't know you had any of those, huh?
Oh, you got yours. I got mine.
We got ours.
Yeah.
Oh, are yours, Heidi? Okay. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved miraculous healings and great success. He remains humble, knowing that the work he does all comes from God, the true source. I am honored to say that Michael has now launched a brand new nonprofit called the International Institute of Self Empowerment. To learn more about it, we will put contact information in the comments below so that you can connect with Michael, learn about his website, more about his experiences. And also, I want to let you know that he lives in Lakewood, Washington, just down the road from me. That's why we sit on the couch often and we record these, or we're going live. You know what I mean. Anyway, I'm thrilled to pieces to go ahead and let Michael have the stage and talk to us about relationship addictions.
You got it. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for giving up your time. Whether you're watching this on a Sunday afternoon or you're watching it later, I have so much information I want to share with you. And it's all about empowering yourself and creating a life, not what you have planned, but what you're supposed to have. And that's a big difference. But another day we'll talk about that. But I wanted to share with you about relationships. My sister Tiiu and I were talking about it one day, and then kind of like, well, I think that would make a great subject. As some of you may know, I never really plan ahead. I don't use a script. What happens is I channel the information from the true source and ask, what am I supposed to speak about? So, and when we look at addictions, it's such a broad spectrum and energy to look at. So, not that I can refine it all to all human addictions, but let's talk about some of the basic ones. Then we'll get into more depth. Many people have addictions to food. They love food. Comfort food, we've all heard that. And then what happens is that when you're nervous or upset, your subconscious goes, food, 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 food. Where does that come from? So I'll speak about myself for a minute. And first of all, I want to reiterate that 94% of your thinking comes from your subconscious mind.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. 6% comes from the conscious mind. Whoa. So we have to be updated. Updated means I can't use the tape. I have to use what's an MP3. And you're always comparing the past with the present. Remember the analogy I used? Michael, you want to have a hot fudge sundae? Michael, you want a hot fudge sundae with jalapeno peppers, sauerkraut, and horseradish and whipped cream? But I'd be the one that would want to taste it just to see what it tastes like. Make sure I had a lot of ice cream cool down my mouth. It'd be burning. But if we understand we are comparing the past with the present, one of the things we need to understand, all addictions are whatever you found comfortable. So I thought I'd share a story. Had a loving, wonderful mother. Most incredible mother a man could ever have, or a child could ever have. And she never said a bad word. But if I skinned my knee, oh, Michael, come on, let's get some ice cream. Oh, you got all A's, let's get some ice cream. Or she'd make me something special. So I was caught in this conundrum. Like if I'm hurt or sad, food, ice cream, or something else. Or I'm happy or joyous, food, make myself feel good. And finally, when I realized I was in this conundrum, I was able to mostly, not 100%, control that addiction to food. And that applies to drugs and alcohol and whatever else. But let's move forward. And I wanted to use that as an example as we're always comparing the past with the present. Here, stress, food, alcohol, drugs, whatever you're using. And let's look at relationships. And we become addicted to relationships. And one of the most important relationships is we become addicted to abusive relationships, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Why? Perhaps when we grow up, we had low self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. Maybe we were bullied at school. Or maybe you had a sibling that bullied you. Or maybe your parents treated you illy. Whatever the reason is, it becomes a habit, becomes an acceptance. And you would say, well, why would I allow myself to be physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, we'll add that, abused? It's because it becomes a habit. You see, addiction becomes a habit. Think about that. So this habit of low self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem, I feel comfortable. It's something I understand. Even though it's painful and I don't want it in my life, I don't know any better. And what happens is you repeat it over and over and over and over again. So finally, some people, not all, have an epiphany. The epiphany is, wait a minute, I got to change this behavior. But until that happens, we look at abused souls, male, female, children. It becomes an accepted habit. And that's so important for you to realize. And along the way is, I don't deserve any better. Because when you are abused, emotionally, physically, mentally, or spiritually, you just have an idea. I'm not worthy. This is my life. And then you meet people when they change, they go, oh no, what's going to happen? When's the other shoe going to fall? I don't feel comfortable. Oh my gosh.
I did that a lot. When I finally found someone that was different than anyone else I'd ever been with, I kept waiting for that shoe to drop. And it didn't drop, and I thought, what's wrong? And I ran away a few times too. It was like, I can't be here.
And that's a perfect example. Thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really important for all of us to know. So we look at addictions. Think about this. You may not know you're addicted in relationships. But how many times I've observed people who are married got divorced and they remarried the same personality. Maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times and they finally, I got it right.
Sometimes they'll marry the same guy again or the same woman again.
That's true.
Because they think they're okay, and then they go away, and then they come back, and it's a boomerang thing. It's like a boomerang thing.
I cannot tell you, I do a lot of counseling with women, more with women than men. I'm a lucky guy. And they'll come and say they have a terrible abusive relationship. They want one that a man that loves them and cares for them. And so they find one. And they go, I'm going to break off with him. Why? Well, he's loving and caring and spoils me. I don't like that. I go, why? I don't know. So you want to go back to an abusive relationship? Let's look at this a little further. Because it's not what you're used to. And why are you not used to it? Because there's that subconscious thought. Remember, 94% of our thinking comes from the subconscious? That I'm not worthy or not good enough for this. So I'm used to abuse. And you repeat this over and over and over again. It's a vicious cycle. But the reason I'm explaining this to all of you is for you to take a look at your life. Not only is it in relationships, male, female, children, and so on, but I want to expand a little bit. Same way with a job. You change jobs, and maybe you were an abusive boss, whomever it may be, or co-workers, and then you change jobs in the same field, and you attract this over and over again. So why do you attract people that you work with that are abusive, bullied, and on a relationship level, male, female, children's, husband, wives, siblings? Why do you attract that? Think about that. The major reason is not because it's a habit, which it is, but it's your soul, your higher self saying, knock, 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 knock. Look what you're attracting. When are you going to get it right? So you'll repeat this over and over again. Not to punish yourself, not that you don't know any better, but it's spirit saying, hey, you want to do this? You want to hang around with this? Is that what you want? Or do you want to change? And that's so important.
It's like the wake-up call.
Exactly. And so many people I work with, when I talk to them about it, they go, well, yeah, but, right? And I go, I hear this over and over and over again. And yeah, but really means I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. And I would say, why? And they can't answer me. And the answer is, it feels familiar.
And they're afraid to change. Excuse me for interrupting.
No,
you're
not.
Afraid to change.
Please feel free to, interject your thoughts. Of course, that's the problem. Change is scary.
Yep.
The unknown is scary. But think about that. Would you sit there and beat yourself up because there are some sects that take a whip and, they hit their back to punish themselves? It's a religious sect. Or would you turn around and say, maybe I need to change? Now, a habit is much like, when you play golf, you swing a certain way. There's what they call muscle memory. Well, you have cellular memory, brain memory, and that's why you keep going back and doing things over and over again. And if we look at our world today, if you tell a lie long enough, you believe it. So we see the media telling us all these stories. So if I look at media, it's no longer the news, it's a commentary. And my major argument is it's okay you want to give a commentary, positive or negative. That's up to you. But don't tell me it's news. Tell me it's a commentary. And of course, they're not doing that. And it's so important for you to realize that.
Sure. Mhm.
So, I'm going to ask Tiiu for a favor. Somebody's knocking on my door and he's ringing the doorbell over and over again.
I'll be right back.
So I'm going to continue with all of you. So thank you. Well, it's the most important things for us to realize is that our life is up to us. What do we want to do? How do we change patterns? Patterns are habits. Habits are patterns. And they keep replacing it over and over and over again. Who replaces it? You. Who says it's worthy? You. Who says it's unworthy? You. It's all up to you. It's your choice. And it's so important for you to realize it. So remember, the past predicts the present predicts the future. Oh, what does that really mean? The past predicts the present predicts the future. Well, if you're living in the past, you're going to repeat it in the present. And if you're going to repeat it in the present, you're going to repeat it in the future. So you're in this vicious cycle, repeating it, repeating it, repeating it. And that's what happens to addictive relationships. You get in this cycle over and over and over again, and it keeps repeating itself. And someday you're going to have to say, I have to make a change. Why am I in this vicious circle? Because that's what happens with addictive relationships. Vicious circles. Circles of repetition, repetition, repetition. Don't you deserve more? Don't you think you deserve more? Well, if you don't think about it, it's time to remember you deserve a lot. You deserve wonderful things in your life. Now, I realize that we have challenges in our life. Life is a challenge. Every day you get up, you don't know what you're going to face. You can think you know, but at the end of the day, it always works out. And if you are frustrated, which many of us are, and sometimes I get frustrated, I realize that this is nothing but for me to look at and realize I'm learning a new lesson. And that's so important for us to realize that everything that goes in your life, in addictive relationships, is a wake up call. Do you want that in your life anymore? Or are you ready to let it go? You know what? By law of karma, now remember, karma is nothing but an experience. You chose that. Sometimes you would say, why the heck did I choose that one? I have a hole in my head. The
I
answer
thought I had one.
is, well, maybe you do. But at any given moment, you can change your future. At any given moment. And it's up to you to change. So when they go, yeah, but, here's another answer. I won't, I won't, I won't. Why? Because I'm afraid of the unknown. And, well, I get out of the frying pan into the fire. The answer is, nope. You get in the frying pan into the air conditioned place of joy and happiness. So each morning when you get up, think about what is my human addiction to? What is it? And change. I was working with a client, and I think I've told this story before, but it's really important to tell the story again. And in telling this story, this woman weighed 275 pounds.
Mm, that's so good.
And she was having trouble taking off weight. By the way, you never want to lose weight because subconsciously, anything you lose, you want to find.
I don't want to find that 20 pounds I lost.
No, you don't. Me neither.
Uh-uh. Leave it where it is.
Absolutely. So what happens is, as I was working with her, told me that her mother, was busy working, and she just wanted to be like her aunt eventually because her aunt took her out to dinner as a little child, bought her Christmas gifts and everything, and she just loved her aunt. And through the years, and when she was in college, her aunt was there. She said, I Grew up just wanted to be like my aunt because I didn't know my mother. Well, tell me about your aunt. Oh, she was a successful person. She had a gift shop. It worked out very well. Great, and people loved her. Well, what's more? Oh, she was 5'4" and weighed 275 pounds. Oh, and how tall are you? 5'4" and I weigh 275 pounds. So I said to her, "You just wanted to be just like your aunt. You had an addiction to your aunt." Now that may seem far-fetched, but what you need to understand is that her aunt was her hero, her mother, and she had this addiction to be just like her. And when she realized that, and she could be just like her aunt, kind and loving, but didn't need the excess weight, she began to take off weight. Eventually got to the right size. I think eventually she got down to about 125 pounds.
Wow, that's a
It
lot.
took a long time, but
Wow.
nevertheless she did it. And that's the point. We don't know what we're saying or thinking that we're addicted to. But you see, what the mind can conceive, the body will believe. Very important from the true source. So what happens is we're visual. And when we're visual, we look at something. When we look at something, we bring in that thought, that picture, that energy into our subconscious mind. And when you do it enough, it becomes imprinted. And when it becomes imprinted in the subconscious mind, it's like that MP3 playing over and over and over and over again. And it can handle multiple bits. We have to be, up to date like a computer of information. Look at all the information you've had since the day you were born. I don't think they make a hard disk big enough to hold all those bits of information.
But we remember it all.
Yeah, we do. And that's why the brain can never be replaced by a computer. They think it can, but never ever. Because what are we using? Only 20 or 30% of our brain? What happens when you're using 40 or 50? Wow. Or even more. And the day will come when that happens. How are we doing on time?
Oh, you've got about 5 minutes.
I got about 5 minutes. Well, then I think I ought to sum it up because we got some messages to share. Everyone, I want you to think about this. Think about what you're addicted to in relationships. No excuses. It's like allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Because you see, when you're vulnerable, you have strength. That's a real oxymoron. Well, I'm vulnerable, people will take advantage of me. No, when you're vulnerable, you realize you have to change. You realize that whatever habits you are, whatever you're addicted to, it owns you, it controls you, and it manipulates you. Now you are given that final path, that decision. Do I want to be this way or do I want to change? And it's your choice. Because with this message, as you are now listening to it, you are given a chance to close the door to all your addictions in relationships and open the door to unlimited freeing positive relationships. It's
Can
all
I
up to
add
you.
something?
Sure.
I want to add something here. I lived a long time in unhealthy relationships, and I thought that was normal. Okay. I didn't know that there was a different way to be because I thought everybody lived like that. That was all I knew. Until one day I started wondering. I was at a Christmas party. A friend of mine said, "Come on, let's go to this Christmas party." And I remember sitting there on the stairs when all the family members came, and everybody was just happy and joyous to be together. And and it didn't matter. There was no sibling rivalry. There was nothing. Everybody was just happy to be together. And I remember sitting on the stairs with my friend. We were watching, and because of our past experiences, their family seemed very weird to us. Okay, it was like whoa. But what we felt was the genuine love that the family had, and there were no conditions on it. Michael talks a lot about unconditional love, and I didn't understand that terminology until I started working with Michael, and I started realizing that, what? I loved a lot of people in my past with conditions. Okay. It was, I'm going to love this guy. Doesn't matter how much he treats me badly, because at least he says he loves me. Okay. And that was my condition that I had given myself because I thought, okay, that was all I deserved. But when you start looking at the fact that you have choices and not everyone has to live the way that you did, and that relationships can actually be really, really healthy, and you can actually come together and enhance one another's strengths, that's huge. So and I hope I'm not going off the beaten path here. I
Nope.
really hope I'm not. Because when you finally start realizing that we are programmed and we're operating subconsciously, what is it? How many percent?
96,
Okay,
94%.
94% of what we do is based on our subconscious behavior.
Correct.
We don't even consciously know what we're doing. But when we start paying attention to the things that we go to, like when I'm upset, sometimes I don't eat at all. And sometimes when I'm upset, I'm like, oh, where's the chocolate? Oh, where's the ice cream? Okay. When we start paying attention to stuff like that, your eyeballs start looking at, you start paying attention, you start getting that wake up call. And when you hit that wake up call, then you get a choice. Then you realize, okay, so this is what I'm doing. These are the triggers. This is what I do. How can I make that better? How can I become stronger and more aware of what I'm doing and become a better person? Build a better relationship, even just be more comfortable in my own skin. You know, I didn't have a whole lot of courage back then. I honestly didn't. I saw a lot of people living differently and I wanted it. And I wanted it bad enough that one day came when I thought, I'm tired of being scared. And when I went through that fearful moment, holy cow, I did find courage. I found courage in ways that I didn't know I would. So, seriously, I hope something resonates with you guys because this is a powerful message that Michael's bringing us. And I'm sorry I kind of talked a
No,
little
no,
long.
no. No, but I'd like to add something. I'm sorry. Did I
No, no,
interrupt
no,
you?
no. I'm done. I'm done. Go.
One of the things that Tio and I were talking about the other day was conditional relationships, which is what Tio is talking about. And conditional relationships is, I'll love you if you do this or that, or I'll like you if you do this or that. And all of us have gone through all that stuff. So what happens is, at a subconscious level, that's part of another addiction. If we please somebody, whatever that definition is, they'll love us. And if we don't please them, then we won't be loved and will be cast out, which creates a fear. Just think of a mother with two or three children who is being abused, and that conditional, if you do this or that, you can stay here, otherwise I'm throwing you out, or whatever it may be. No soul must control another. You can have options, you can talk about things, you can make things work. But anything that is conditional, which you are repeating over and over again, becomes another addiction. And you have lost your freedom. You have lost your self worth, self love, self esteem, because you've given to somebody else's control, manipulation, and whims. And that is a no no. But not only does that apply to relationships, but relationships at work and friendships. Think about that. And so many times in relationships, I've heard people talk, well, I'm going to be with my friends. And I was recently with a friend and I went over to his house and he was drinking. And I said, I just want a Diet Coke. Once in a while, I'll have a drink, maybe a glass of wine or two, or I'll have a little liquor, one drink. If I'm there 4 or 5 hours, I may have two, but that's about it. And he said to me, well, you're not drinking. Now he knows I only have one or two drinks, but he felt very uncomfortable because he was drinking. Misery loves company. That's another addiction that he had. Good soul, good person, excellent. But that's just an example of another addiction in a relationship. And so I made it, very, very clear that by turning down any alcohol because I was not in the mood and drinking Diet Coke or Coke. He either has to accept me as I am or sayonara. Bottom line is, he will accept me and has done it before. But that's another example. I will be your friend, I'll love you or whatever if you do this, if you do that, if you do this. Think about that. And it's even in the workplace. If you don't produce, you don't do this, you're out. That's another, shall we say, habit or another addiction. Of course, you're into survival mode, meaning you have to work, you have a family, money, etc. So some things you can work with that are acceptable. And you can leave it with, when you leave work. But when in a relationship with family, friends, lovers, husbands, wives, children, that becomes challenging. Bottom line is, never forget that you are a beautiful soul made out of love, from love, with love, and of love, and that you deserve the best, not in a conceited, controlling, haughty way, but a way of love. Remember, God, the true source as I call it, is nothing but unconditional love. And that is something that resides within your soul. Because you are unlimited.
I knew you were going to say that.
So, Tiiu, you want to give them the information?
Yeah, we should wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming and listening to our Facebook Live.
Listen to my sister. She has good information.
I'm going to go ahead and put the contact information down below. Michael has a call-in that he does every Tuesday night.
From 6:30 to 7:30 p.m.
Pacific Standard Time, right?
Yes, thank you for bringing that out.
And I'm going to let you do the number,
right?
The pound number thing, and I'll give you. There's some new numbers, okay? So if you follow the call at all, here, jot this one down. It's 202-926-1059.
And then there is a code, and the code is 12544 pound or hashtag. 12544 pound or hashtag.
12544. Huh.
Is that right?
It was a 6.
You know what, everybody?
Check the comments.
Yes.
I think
Wait a
it's
minute,
125.
We erased.
I think it's 1254446 pound. There we got it.
1254446 pound.
Oh, we're having
1254446 pound hashtag. Sorry, everybody, but I was channeling the information, and I am floating, and I'm having a ball floating. Yeah.
Well, this is too funny. We're having fun. The guy is weed eating in his yard. The door gets, we've had interruptions, and I'm sure glad we're not too scripted on any of this. We just, the message is serious. The message comes from our heart, and we're really, really honored that you're taking the time to listen to these. Leave your comments below. One more time, that number, and you already have the access code. So I'm going to give the number for the Tuesday call-in. It's 202-926-1059. And Michael has a recorded message at the end of each of those calls. And he has close to how many now?
Close to 200.
Wow. And you can access those. You want to tell them a little bit about that real quick?
Sure. They're about 10 to 12 minutes long. They're all in audio. And you can access it by this and number that she's about to repeat. And for some weird reason, I started from number 3. Don't ask me why. All the way up to 200. And every week I add a new one. Once you give them the number, you can just punch in this number. And when you punch in, they'll ask you what number you want to listen to. So it's 3 through 200. Just punch in the number while you're stuck in traffic, or maybe you're having a lunch break, or maybe you're just bored. Listen to the messages. They are inspiring.
They're
excellent.
All,
thank you. And they're all channeled from the true source.
Okay, so that number for the recording is 434-300-4170. I'll say that one more time. 434-300-7. No, wait. My bad. 4170.
Why don't you give it again?
Oh my goodness. We're having one of those days, aren't
Mercury
we?
is retrograde, everybody. So we're having fun.
We're having communication issues, let me tell you. Okay. 434 300 4170. And the access
This
code
is 125446 pound. So everyone, I just also want to remind you, we just did it last week. The second Saturday of every month, we have the Mass Consciousness Healing. And what it is, it runs from Pacific time, 9:55 a.m. to 11:01 a.m. After the first 2 or 3 minutes is done in silence. It'll be the most marvelous experience you will ever have, but more importantly, sending healing to the mass consciousness of everything that exists. The humans, animal, mineral, and vegetable kingdom is so important to change our thinking into love. It's really, really very powerful. And one of the reasons Tiiu and I, or I should say my sister and I, give our messages slowly and a telephone number. You ever hear anybody call me at 566-74994? Huh? I got the first 3 letters and I have to repeat it 2 or 3 times. Everyone, when you leave a number, please do it slowly. Anyway, everyone, you have a great week. Anything you want to add, sis?
Just one more thing. I highly recommend this book and that book.
They're great authors, great books, and great people.
And we have so many more stories to tell.
And just ask us. We can tell you we're great people and great authors.
Oh, he's being such a kook. All right, we're going to let you go. Thank you so very much for your time. We really do appreciate it. And bring in your comments. All the contact info, the numbers and whatnot will be in the comments below. And we look forward to seeing you all next Sunday. Invite your friends.
Party time.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, wait. We got to tell them one more time. Remember this.
You are unlimited. Namaste. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Love you.
I can't find my button. Here we go. We're